Welcome to Spotlight Gulf Coast, a weekly showcase of people and events across South Mississippi. Spotlight Gulf Coast is partnered with William Carey University and sponsored by the IP Casino Resort and Spa, the Trenchard Scholarship Fund, and the Butch Ostelet Foundation.
Hi everyone, this is Todd Trenchard, Executive Director of the Baco Foundation of South Mississippi, welcoming you to another segment of Spotlight Gulf Coast right here on WXXV. Each week we're coming into your living room talking about what's going on all across our region, and we want to thank our sponsors for this generous opportunity. Today we have a little bit of a different show. We have Dr. Bud Ellert from Pascagoula, and Bud, we go back a long time, and you know, we could talk for days, but we're not here to talk about you. You're here to present James Mayo. Of course, James, I know a little bit about your work, but this is a great project that y'all came up with, or probably you came up with, and we're going to talk about that and the importance of art as a medium, because I know that's important to you. It's an educational tool. So people right now are looking at some of the things. What do we have in front of us, James? We've got some of the, I guess, the tools of your trade.
Tools of my trade, just some paintbrushes that we'd bring along just to keep me company. I'm used to them.
Now, when did you know that you had this talent? I mean, painting is not something you just pick up and learn at your level.
Well, you know, I was about 10 years old when somebody who really kind of pointed out to me that I had a talent. And her name was Miss Thorpe. She was a school teacher. Mm-hmm. And I still remember her very, very well, very fondly. And she said, James, don't ever give up your art. And coincidentally, she was also the art teacher of Bob Dylan.
Okay.
I went to the same, I went to Nettleton up in Duluth, and she was the art teacher there.
They got some things
and she
Minnesota,
told me,
huh?
Yeah, originally, yes. I'm here now. This is where I'm here to stay, and I have grandchildren being born here, and my son and daughter-in-law. And, of course, I've been here for probably about 7, 8 years now.
Right. Now, you know, I guess your title would be a muralist.
That's it.
And a muralist is more than just painting on a little, I guess, piece of canvas or something. I think what's so fascinating about murals, especially on the scale that we're going to be talking about, it has to be on scale. You can't have something big and then it not fit in with the rest. How do you visualize something like that?
Well, that's the beauty of it. I mean, I made a decision years ago. I was with I knew an accomplished artist, and he was an older fellow at the time, and he said, James, he says, you can probably do, quite a few things in the arts. He said, but pick something and get good at it. And at the time, I chose to be a mural artist. I mean, I could have ventured down a few paths as an artist, as a painter, strictly seascapes or strictly portraits or maybe, just smaller paintings in your studio. But I had walked into a mercantile store, and I had painted a frog on the back of a shirt I was wearing. And this woman asked me, she says, do you think you could paint on my wall outside? And I said, absolutely.
Right.
And of course, I was a starving artist then, and still am. But so I did, and there was a little local newspaper picked it up, and I've been doing murals ever since.
Right.
That's been about 35 plus years ago, 40 years ago.
You've done houses, you've done walls, like out on the street. Have you ever done a bridge of this size?
Well, I've never done a bridge until just recently, and I've seen bridge murals. And, of course, you see the graffiti. But, to paint on something like that, but maybe take it to a level where it's really considered fine art. Mm-hmm. Maybe something you might see in your living room or something you might want to see or pick up and buy, but not just throwing paint everywhere, but, something that people can enjoy to look at, really enjoy, nothing controversial.
Right.
And so at some point, when I came down, I was here in the Pascagoula area Dr. Ellert approached me to do a job for it. He saw a mural on the side of my studio, and he comes and asked me to do a job for him. We got to know each other. That's probably 5-6 years ago now. And we worked in a few jobs, and I said, you know, underneath of that bridge over there in that Lighthouse Park area, now that's got some fresh canvas that a mural artist could really, you know, get after.
Right.
And so we tossed it around. We've been thinking about it and been trying to inspire people to get behind us. And, you know, for me, it's like, I was chomping at the bit to do it. So we're working on one now. It's 120 feet wide by about 20 feet tall. And it has 4 different columns. Each one of them columns I can paint individually, but to kind of tie into the whole area, you know.
I think one of the things I asked when y'all came into the office was to learn a little bit more. Weren't you afraid of, you know, vandalism, people coming? And you said that generally, you see a decrease in the spray painting around artwork and things like that. And I've seen it in some other cities where it started to take on its own thing. Why not have somebody that is talented like that?
Well, exactly. Why not? You know, if a wall needs, let's say a wall needs painting anyways, and you're running some kind of a business, and why not enhance that business with some sort of a mural that the public's going to be pleased with? You get your wall painted. If they make it affordable,
right,
and everybody's happy, why in the world wouldn't you do it? You know, so good art out there is something everybody can enjoy.
Now, Bud, you're not to be left out in this art thing. I know you do a little bit of woodworking. I mean, you made us a trophy that we gave to the IP for, I think, our $2 or $3 million that they had given us. And it's still sitting at IP. It's the biggest thing in their display case.
I do woodworking in my shop, yes, but let's stick with the bridge. We're both from Pascagoula, East Jackson County, and we're talking about the Highway 90 bridge that goes from Gaucher to Pascagoula. And underneath this bridge, there are the big columns. There are 24 columns, each with an east and a west wall. That makes 48 columns that could be painted on. And the dream project for Mr. Mayo is to reproduce the history of Jackson County on these bridge columns.
So it's just getting started.
It's just getting started. In fact, yes, it's so new that we're funding the initial phase ourselves. It's a self-funded.
Well, and that's what we're doing here on this show, getting the word out there. You've taken it for the city council. We're going to take a short commercial break because there's already some things starting to come into place. We also have somebody that's, doing a feature, on your work, and we're going to be talking with him a little bit. But every idea has to have others. You've got the talent. Now there's some others that need to step forward, like you said. It seems that, Bud, you're always in the middle of getting things started.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step.
First step. We're going to take a short commercial break. Y'all don't touch that remote. We're talking about the Lighthouse Bridge, which is in Pascagoula, Mississippi. And if you're over there, you can't miss it. I drove by it the other day, and I'll drive by it again tomorrow. It really is a fascinating thing to see. We'll be right back. Don't touch that remote. Welcome back, everyone. We're talking about the Lighthouse Bridge in Pascagoula, and Dr. Ellert, we were talking about how many beams did you say there was? 48 total?
There are 24 columns, and each column with the east and west wall, so there's room for 48 murals.
You're on the first one.
On the first one.
It's a big project.
It's one of the biggest columns, and it's 120 feet wide. And like we were saying, this has just started, and we're just starting the fundraising for this. In fact, we're so excited about it. The project is being self-funded at this moment.
Right.
Mr. Mayo, he's working hard, and we've started the first column.
And Dr. Ellert has provided some
It's,
financial kickoff to get the ball rolling, which is I greatly appreciate from him, and how we got started as friends and connected together as an artist to my friend Dr. Ellert. But and we've been able to we've got a few projects we've done together now in Pascagoula. We did a huge eagle together on the side of Resurrection Gymnasium,
right,
which was a lot of fun, and I think it turned out well. And I'm pretty proud of it.
If you're looking downtown, that's the first thing you see.
Yeah, you can even see it from that bridge. But this project here that we're on is even bigger. It's way bigger, and I think as an artist, knowing what a little bit I know about public art, this particular project is huge in scope, and it could be for years, really. And
you're talking about the educational component of it, and seeing young kids that are going to see this.
It could be a field
stirs
trip
their
for
interest
school.
in.
Well, we want to do it historically, so maybe like work from one segment to another as we're going through a time period. You may start with something almost primitive, prehistory, and then work through maybe the Dutch, the Spanish, the English, the French,
right,
and the
Native Americans,
the
indigenous, that whole aspect through there, while keeping it, while keeping it enjoyable for people to walk through. And we've discussed the idea of using our phones with these little QR codes, where you can walk through and even listen. Listen to the historical aspect of South Mississippi, Jackson County, that area, the whole area, really.
Well, we're going to put these QR codes up.
I'm excited about it.
Because again, this is beyond me how they make a little thing into going to a web page. Before my time, and I know we were talking beforehand. Can you make this happen? I don't know. I know somebody that does, but
well, we started.
Dr. Ellert, you seem to be involved in a lot of projects where I think when you see something that makes the community better, and we've got others that do that too, but you certainly need more. I mean, we've talked about this for years. How do we get more and more people to understand that, you got to leave a legacy behind you, and you've certainly done that in a major way, but there's others that could certainly step forward.
Pascagoula, in my mind, is just the right size to do what I like to do. Everything's in your backyard, and you can get involved in what you want to and make something high profile, such as I'm friends with the Catholic school. He made this big eagle on the gymnasium, and the bridge is just a wonderful place to demonstrate our history. And it goes from prehistoric times to shipbuilding to spaceships, and it's fun.
Yeah.
If we had the whole spaceship element, we could dive into for a minute.
Well, that's before my time. I've heard a lot since I've been here, but I'm not as familiar about that as y'all would be now. Looking at this, some of the pictures here, you're going to incorporate some of the things in the sea, but also the land, the birds, you just got a little bit of everything in here. You got ships up here.
There's a pattern here. It goes from the north, cypress swamps with butterflies and cranes, and then a tugboat, and over here will be the Lighthouse Park, and then further over here will be a saltwater scene as you get to the south. Yes.
That's a great location, too, for families to gather under. I mean, that's always when they built that.
It already is the Lighthouse Park with walking tracks, pickleball courts, a playground for kids, and boat launches. It's a very active park already, and we want to make it better.
Well, and the only way to do that is to get it out there, and hopefully some people step forward, like you said, and certainly doing this show, doing a documentary. What has it been like having somebody that's doing a documentary on the things that you do? Have you ever done that before?
I have not. I get a lot of interest when you paint that large. You draw a lot of interest from people. Inevitably. Occasionally, I get in the past. I've been doing this 30, 40 years. I've got a few papers. Hardly see newspapers anymore, but newspapers used to come and,
Right.
they do a little story on you and that sort of thing. But when you paint that large, it draws a lot of attention and a lot of smiles and a lot of just good vibes, really.
Yeah, it's a very interesting project. I just can't imagine someone having the patience and the talent to be able to do something like that. That's, it's pretty amazing, and it's a God-given gift. I mean, I certainly would never. I could draw a stick man. It is a God-given gift, and I believe that it was a gift to me to help me get through some things, in life. And I've finally at around 30 years old, I started really applying it after a bad motorcycle wreck that I had got in, where I didn't think I could do the heavy labor I had done once upon a time. But that being said, it's not like falling off a log. I had to teach myself. It's taken me the better part of 40, 50 years Right.
to teach myself how to do this. I haven't been to school. I went to a school for a minute, I think maybe 2-3 months, and then I just got back into whatever it was I was doing as teaching myself. And I'm a slow learner, so it's taken me 40 years to get to the level that I'm at, where I got a product.
I'm a very slow learner.
That I got a product that I can offer back to a community, and that didn't come by accident. I thought along those lines. What do I have that I can have in the future? What will I have? What can I do?
Right. Okay. Well, we got to run out of time on this. What's a good contact? Just to go to one of these sites right here, and it'll lead you.
That QR code will take you to a GoFundMe or a Venmo account.
Okay.
It'll come straight to Mr. Mayo.
And then the Lighthouse Park is saying is on Frederick Street, and again,
It's
not that hard for us that live past school. It's easy to find. I'm sure that if you didn't,
underneath the east end of Highway 90 Bridge.
get in the right lane and go around.
Lighthouse is right there.
You're going to run right into it. Gentlemen, I appreciate y'all coming on, and we're going to do one more segment, on this. And the name of it is going to be The Big Picture?
The big picture.
The big picture.
That's my tagline anymore, is the big picture.
Okay. Well, I appreciate y'all coming on, and like I said, get us some footage and some video, and we'll get this all put together and
Absolutely.
Do anything we can do to help.
We appreciate you.
We're going to take a short commercial break. We're going to be right back after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back, everyone. And before we go any further, I almost forgot. How could I forget? LSU is going to win the World Series. When this airs a couple weeks from now, I will be holding the trophy. So all those guys at Ole Miss that I'll see at Rotary tomorrow, you saw it first right here. All right, got that out of the way. We're now joined by Don Smith. And Don, appreciate you coming on. I know you didn't come here to specifically get on TV, but we snagged you. Sort of unique. What you're doing, you're making a video or a film
for a film festival
of James Mayo.
About James, like a bioptic, which is a short documentary on him and what he does, and how it involves the community for film festivals.
So you look for things that are different and unique.
I look for stories, like most filmmakers. I'm a storyteller, so I rode by there and I saw this guy painting on the bridge. And I could recognize that it was very high level of talent going on. So I knew there happened to be a story in there somewhere. So,
right.
So I just stopped and started chatting with him. Then I remembered he was living at the Anchor Square apartments. And I remembered I met him before, and I was impressed by him then. So it was all starting to fit together. It's like, wow, there's enough stuff here to make a movie about this. So that's when it started.
So you're putting together a little video, some interviews, or?
I've been taking clips of him work in progress, and then getting clips of him talking about himself, and then I was going to be, and I was, behind the camera shooting you guys talking to each other.
Right.
And so I'm going to have to weave all this in together and make a story out of it.
Yeah.
So normally I would have a script, but since this happened so fast, I'm going to have to just work on the fly and shoot from the hip, make it happen.
So James, I can see this now. So you're on the show, you're listening to a guy that just predicted LSU to win the World Series. You're going to end up on Letterman because we're talking about Lettermans, and that'd be the dream. The reality is it takes a lot of hard work, and every once in a while you get somebody that wants to come by, and through no effort on your own, he's seeing what you're doing, and
Right.
that's what makes you know it's a great project, because there's kids watching this. I always go back to, there's a little kid watching this that's going to come along that's a much better painter than you are.
It'll happen.
He's going to go off and do something. That's what life's really all about. How's it been being put in that position? Is this the first time you've done that?
It's the first time somebody has approached me to do some kind of a small film, a documentary on my work and maybe the aspect of that. So that's interesting. That's fascinating. I'm all for it, I guess, for the most part. I am. It's interesting, and he's good. Yeah, I've seen some of his work. He showed me a little bit, and so he's a talented man too. And it's like, between the two of us, we can kind of, collaborate and have produce something fun.
Well, last time I checked, there's some billboards out there that says "pass it on." So if nobody knows what you're doing, it's not going to be passed on. It's just going to be a split moment in time, and I think that maybe this is a way that you can
we can pass it on to the
further
rest of
that
the world.
on, and like I said, you don't know. You just spread all those little seeds out there, and one of them's going to sprout. Now, how long have you been doing this?
For a long time. Actually, I'm a retired art teacher and coach, so this is a continuation. Now that I don't have to work every day, I have time to pursue these other interests. But I've been doing music since I was a little boy, and then and I have a degree in sculpture and taught art, like I said. So it's just been, now that I have more free space, I can just do what I want to. I'm not worried about getting paid or anything, because I'm going to get a retirement check every month. So
No,
I
you
won't starve to
you
death.
want to worry about getting paid. Trust me.
So,
At some point.
I'm free to,
You can pass it on.
if it happens, it happens. But I'm free to pursue my own interests and not have to worry about, am I going to get paid for this, or so it's
I
not
don't
about
have
my
that
thing.
same luxury.
Well, technology-wise, you're talking about, just with what you had
Yes.
there. I don't know those type of things, and I have people that work for me that do, but things like TikTok, things like that. I was always wondering, how do they do that?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Because it seems like they're talking.
That's a big part of the story. The technology. This is an iPhone. This is the best you can get, like $1,500. But it shoots 4K, just like these cameras here in the studio.
Right.
I used to work for a cable company and made TV commercials, and I had to carry around a big old 20-pound camera all over the place to shoot these commercials. And this, I could fit it in my pocket.
Did you work here locally?
For NCN, it's a cable insert company over in Jackson County.
Well, yeah, Ken Smith.
Yeah, and we made commercials.
I know Ken very.
So
Ken was alive, and Ken and Fran.
When Ransom Jones was part of it. I don't know if you remember him or not.
No, that's before my time, but
SK
Hal
Outdoor.
Camella gave me my first job there, and gave me a little show, and I stuck with it because I know the power of film, video. I mean, it's like nothing else. You can write something, but once you put it on film, people can visualize it without, having to go any further.
I definitely
That's why I
a show
paint
like this.
large.
The Eddie,
That's why I paint large.
Well, you do that, and I go to all these little brushes. Each one has a meaning, or is it just to have a lot of little brushes, or you just whatever feels good that day, or?
Well, part of the whole learning in the process of painting something, though, just like with Don and his tool, there's each one of these really will apply the paint differently, depending upon how you apply it. I mean, so you'll want a different texture. You want a different stroke. You'll want a different in the rounds, the flats. You got rounds, you got flats, you got daggers, you got all kinds of different brushes. You know, use something like this for maybe blending. That one's a little bit hard, so that needs to be dealt with. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, they all have a different application, every one of them.
Well, I've learned a lot just today talking to y'all and listening to what you're having to say. Everybody has a skill set. It takes a lot of skill sets to make the world go round, and you know, like I said, any way we can help to get that out. But I do appreciate you stepping in last second, and certainly what you're doing. And if you can get us some, you know, good video, we'll get this out there and get a link, and we can send that anywhere.
Very appreciative.
So that can really, you know, expand the reach and everything. So, gentlemen, I appreciate y'all coming on today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we appreciate everybody's support of the Bagel Foundation of South Mississippi. Until next time, this is Todd Trenchard saying so long, and may God bless.